The building block of all whitewater strokes is the forward stroke. A lot of people progress in whitewater paddling and really not take time to really sit and address a proper forward stroke. That's why today I chose for my first ever video for this channel to really focus on something that's going to be the keystone for everything else that I'm going to teach you guys here. And that's the forward stroke. So I'm going to take you over to the lake. We're going to get started. We're going to start on this journey of learning how to do the beautiful sport that is open boating. Sweet, I'm out at Lake Robinson with my new dagger, Canoe. Today we're going to be working over one of the most important strokes that any whitewater paddler can have, and that is your forward stroke. It's the building block that all new techniques will be based off of. It's how you create your momentum, it's how you charge across eddy lines, it's even how you get out of those really mean, manky holes that you'll sometimes get caught in when you're out there in whitewater. So, as we kind of start looking at it, I'm going to break it down first from the steps that it takes to have an efficient forward stroke. Then I'm going to be talking about what kind of body mechanics you need, how you need to move your body, and then finally I'm going to talk about how you need to move your boat and kind of how we end up doing that. And we're going to all put it back together out on the water. I'm going to show how we generate some good speed out there and some drills we can use to really practice a proper forward stroke, even off moving water on beautiful lakes and beautiful days like today. Now I'm going to be talking about how you hold on to the paddle. This is one of the most important building blocks for how we're going to go forward with a proper, strong forward stroke. This is the connection point, as many would say. So first things first, you want to have a nice grip on the top of your T-grip paddle with one thumb tucked underneath and the rest of the hand over the top. This is, kind of disputed amongst paddlers. Some people will have the thumb on the side, some people will have the thumb, kind of tucked underneath and grabbed over the top. It's really whatever's comfortable for you, but you really want to make sure you have a nice strong grip on that paddle. Then from there you want to take this other hand and put it at a comfortable shoulder width apart. The most important thing is you don't want to be too far down on your paddle like this or too high up like this, because that's going to put your shoulders in a weird position. What you want is a nice comfortable shoulder width apart, kind of like if you're cutting vegetables at your countertop, or kind of standing in a strong position if you've ever played any other sports. So from here you're kind of connected at the shoulders, and then you can move your core, and that's what's going to create a lot of the dynamics and strength for the rest of the paddle strokes we're going to be doing. Because if you're up here, you're just moving your arms. But if you're connected, nice, strong at the shoulders, all your power is going to be coming from your entire body and relying on more muscles than just your shoulders because they're not all that strong. Sweet. And from here, I'm going to hop in the boat and kind of show you how I start my stroke. Okay, so now that we're in the boat, we're going to kind of break down how that paddle handling makes it so that you have an effective forward stroke. We break a forward stroke down into three important parts: the catch, the pull, and the recovery. So I'm going to put it all together for you real quick. We've got a forward catch, and then you pull through right until your hip, and then you recover for another catch. Now we're going to break it down step by step. The first step is the catch. And with the catch, you really want to make sure two things are true. You've got a nice straight line between your shoulders and they're in line, and a nice line between your hips so that they're also in line. The way you set up for a catch is making sure that this power face of your paddle is faced towards you. So you see this curve right here? That's going to be making sure it's facing down towards the boat, because that's what you're going to be pulling to make sure all your power comes from there. So as you're doing this catch, you're going to be rotating both your hips and your shoulders together in one unit to the left. And that's because I'm moving on my right side, which is my power side. If you're working on the left side, you're going to be rotating everything to the right. So as I go for that reach, I'm rotating my shoulders and my hips to the left, making sure this bottom hand is all the way extended and planting hard at a nice 45-degree angle with that paddle so that it has full connection with the water. Again, as we're reaching forward, we're turning our hips to the left, turning our shoulders to the left, and everything's in line, and you want to reach and just plant it down like that. So I have a slight angle in my blade, and it's really just going to sheathe right into the water at a really clean angle. So forward, sheath, everything's pointing to the left, and your hips are coiled. and your core is tight. And when you're like this, you're ready, and you're ready to pull with all the force you have built up, not only from your shoulders, but from your back and your hips. This next step is our power phase of our stroke. We're here in that catch phase. Shoulders are turned to the left, hips are turned to the left, and what you're doing is you're creating force to pull everything down to your hip. So you're moving this right shoulder and this right hip backwards, and you're moving this left shoulder and this left hip forwards, kind of unwinding everything as you go until you reach your hip, and you're going to pull with this arm. Again, you're in that catch, and then you're twisting and pulling. This is step 3. You have that power phase right here, right by your hip, and at this point, you can't generate any more effective forward momentum. All your forward momentum happens from here to here. Anything past there is steering stroke or wasted efficiency, and in a boat like an open canoe for whitewater, efficiency is the name of the game. So once you reach here, you're just pulling it back, and you're pulling with this top hand, pulling it towards you, and rotating it out. Again, you're here in that power phase, you're pulling this top hand down so the paddle's out of the water, rotating your both wrists forward, and now pushing out like that. So again, you're here, pull it down, forward, out. And now you're ready to reset up for that really, really strong catch. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring it all out to the water. I'm going to break it down in slow motion so that we can get everything really solid. Sweet, so now we're on the water and we're ready to start looking at how it looks like when we're actually out here on our lakes and rivers. So, I'm gonna line myself up, get ready, and I'm catching, I'm pulling, recovering, catch, pull, recover, catch, pull, recover. When you're out on the lake practicing these strokes, make sure you just break it down into its parts. Just focus on a good pull or a good catch or a good recovery. It won't come very quickly, but the more you break it down into these simple steps, the better the hole's going to get. For here, that's all I have today, but I do think we're going to start touching on what it is to correct your strokes, talking about corrective strokes like the J stroke, the ferryman's pry, classic strokes that we'd use in whitewater and beyond. Because once you have those, you'll be able to really truck in a straight line, and that's where you start getting those reps. But until then, keep your eye out for more content coming out from me, both on my Instagram channels and here on YouTube. And we're going to keep pushing and keep getting you guys into the sport of whitewater canoeing because it's something I love dearly and I'm excited to share it with y'all.